All right, so you've got a brand new P1 Nano. It's an awesome control surface. There's a lot of really cool things. Let's talk through getting it set up. First thing before anything else, you want to download the IMAP software that allows it to talk to your DAW. So we're just going to go to the P1 Nano page here on Icon's website, and we're going to pick our operating system under downloads right here. This is a Mac. I'll show you PC here in just a second. So we're just going to go ahead and download it. I'll let it go to my downloads. When it finishes, it's going to give you this. I'm just going to double click that. Your Mac will unzip it, and there it is. So I'm going to double click it, and it's going to give you this. This is the one little quirky thing on Macs. So we're just going to go to System Settings. I'm going to click OK there, and System Settings is going to pop up. And I'm going to go to Privacy and Security. And then this varies from Mac OS to Mac OS, but when you go to Privacy and Security, somewhere you're going to find this, and it's going to show your P1 Nano IMAP blocked here. And so what you're going to just say is open anyway, and then it's going to ask for your stuff. And then it says, are you sure you want to do this? It's going to blow up your computer. It's not. So go ahead and click open, and then you can install it. We'll just walk through it there. Right, and install, that's fine. What's my password? And it'll finish installing, and we're done. Yeah, I'm going to keep my Mac clean. We'll delete that. So now we're all set. So I'm going to close out of this, and I already moved the shortcut here to the desktop, but there's IMAP. So now we can go ahead and connect the hardware. Okay, and here's how you're gonna download the software for your new P1 Nano for Windows. Again, we're just gonna go to the website and click on P1 Nano, and we'll scroll down to downloads, and we're gonna download the Windows version. And sure, I'll let it go right here to downloads. When it's done, right up here, we're gonna get the notification that it's done. I'm just gonna click on that. So I'm going to go ahead and just double click that. When you double click on it, you're going to get this security message. Just click on more info, and then you can click run anyway. Then you're going to get this warning again from Windows, and you just say, yes, I wanna go ahead and do it. And then you're gonna install the software. Create a desktop icon. Sure, yes, I would like that, please, and thank you. All right, we're done. That's it. It's pretty painless. And because I put the desktop icon there, I'm going to find it right here. And I'm going to open it up, and there we go. P1 Nano, ready to plug in. Okay, here's our P1 Nano, fresh out of the box. So we're going to flip it around and look at the back, since this is about connecting, and we're going to find that there are 3 USB-C connectors back here. I'm going to talk you through what each one of those is for. The first one is pretty straightforward. That it plugs right into your computer. So I'm going to use this white USB-C connector here. We're going to plug that into USB. Now, if you don't have a USB-C or Thunderbolt connector on your computer, like that, I have found that the USB-C to USB 2 or 3 adapter will work just fine. Had no problems with that on the computers I've tested it on. So we're going to do that. The next thing we need to do is we need to get it some additional power, and that is going to be via this 5-volt connector right here. So I'm using another standard USB-C cable. I'm going to plug it in right there. And then for power, I'm just using a standard cell phone charger, 5-volt cell phone charger, and that works great. So now I've got power, and I've got the connector for the computer. And then there's the third. If you're making good decisions, you've already purchased the amazing D5. So the D5 is the additional meter bridge for the P1 Nano, and the way it connects is really sneaky cool. These little guys are magnetic, so it'll slip right in there like that, and then even if you turn it upside down, it won't fall out. Pretty cool. And then there are hinges there, so you can adjust the angle for your view. And then this little USB-C simply connects right there to the D5 port. Good to go. Let's hook this thing up. Okay, so we've got our P1 Nano connected. Let's get it working with our DAW. So the first thing I'm going to do is power it on. And then once it's on, the next thing, and this is important, before you do anything else, you want to open IMAP software on your computer. IMAP software is what is used to communicate with your DAW. So if you don't have this open, then it won't work. And it's very confusing. So just be sure that's open. You can put it in your dock or your taskbar, so you don't have to look at it, but it does need to be running. All right, the next thing we need to do, if this is the first time, you only have to do this once, but if it's the first time you're using the P1 Nano, you want to set up your DAWs. So you can actually do 3 at a time, which is awesome. You can, even with different formats, so you can use Cubase, Pro Tools, which are Huey and Mackie control based, without having to do anything weird, which is pretty slick. And then you can use a third DAW as well. So right now I've got this set up for Cubase, Pro Tools, and Luna. So let me show you how to change that or set it up for the first time. So these 3 buttons in the IMAP software match 3 buttons on the front of the P1 Nano. So DAW 1 I have set for Cubase, DAW 2 for Pro Tools. Let's say I wanted to change DAW 3 to Reaper. I use Reaper sometimes, and it's pretty cool. So all I'd have to do is click on the button here and change it in the list. And you saw as I just did it, it changed to Reaper. Let's change it back. I'm gonna go ahead and change it to Luna here, and you can see right here in the display, it changes in real time. So now, if I hit 3, I'm controlling Luna. Now if I hit 3, I'm controlling Reaper. So super slick, super easy to do. So once I've got all this set up the way I want, I can just minimize that. Don't have to think about it anymore. And now I'm going to open up Cubase. I'm going to hit 1, so I'm controlling Cubase, and open it up. Okay, now that I've got Cubase open and a project open, there is one step I need to take the first time that I use my P1 Nano. You don't have to do this again, just the first time. So I'm going to click Studio in Cubase and then Studio Setup. This is going to be a little different with each version of Cubase, but the last 4 years or so, all the different versions, I think from like 8 or 9 up to what I'm using now, which is 12, this is pretty much the same. So Studio Setup, and in Studio Setup, we're going to find Add Device. And we're going to add Mackie Control. Mackie Control is a protocol that's used by lots of DAW controllers, and it has a whole lot of functionality that we can tap into. So I'm going to select Mackie Control. Now here, you're going to see the MIDI in and output. And it's important that we set this up correctly. So when I click this, you're going to see there's 4 MIDI ports. 1, 2, and 3 match the DAW buttons on the front. So I've got Cubase set for 1, so I want to use MIDI port 1. If I was setting this up in Pro Tools, I'd want to use 2, because remember I have 2 set for Pro Tools. And if I was setting it up for Luna, I'd want to use 3. All right, but we're using Cubase, so we're going to leave it with 1. And that's all we got to do is just hit apply and OK, and we're done. We're set. So I'm going to hit 1, and now we're controlling Cubase. So if you've ever used a control surface before, a lot of this is going to come really natural to you. First things first, you do have a motorized fader that allows you to control the selected track in your DAW, in this case Cubase. So your fader can do all the things you expect it to do with your DAW. It will change the volume, and it will actually read back volume parameters as well. So let's try that. I'm going to go ahead and enable automation read and write, and I'm going to hit play, and I'm going to grab this fader. I'm going to move it all the way down, move it all the way up, and then do a few little small automation moves. Done. And now when I hit play, I'm going to see that fader do exactly what I programmed it to do. So if I want to make some changes at any point, it's nice because you can just kind of grab it and make those changes, and it'll jump right back to where it was. Pretty awesome. All right, so what else do we have? Well, we have encoders. These encoders are, by default, when you first connect this, there's going to default to pan, which is awesome. So you got a volume and a pan right there. Now, another thing that I really love though is the flip feature. When you hit flip, the fader becomes the panner and the encoder becomes the volume. Why is this good? Well, if you want to write pan automation or even effect send automation, the flip will allow you to do that. And then you flip right back and you're back to the fader. Love this. It's great if you're using headphones from aux sends as well on your DAW for monitoring for you musicians. You can just hit flip and you're controlling their mix instead of yours. Pretty neat. Okay, what else do we have? Well, all the stuff you'd expect. Mute, solo, you got record enable. There we go. Then we also have the ability to jump through tracks. And we can jump through in singles or in groups of 8. Now, one of the things I like about Cubase is it will show you in the software here, it will show you with highlighted tracks which group of 8 you currently have selected. See, I jumped over here and now I'm looking at 9, and I jump back 8, and now I'm starting here at 1. Pretty awesome. Love this. The other thing that I really like about the Nano is the way the D5 will show you what 8 channels you're on right on the display, and those encoders will operate the pan or send or whatever you have selected on all 8 channels. So if I want to jump on audio 6 here and change the pan, I don't have to bounce over a bunch of channels. I can just reach up there and do it. It's really, really good. And that, of course, is going to jump when I jump the 8 channels. So what are these 3 buttons right here, you ask? Oh, you're going to love this. So the P1 Nano has 16 touch-sensitive buttons right here that can be customized to be whatever you want. We'll dig into that on another video, but for right now, as you can see, a quick and easy change I can make is I can change the encoders from pan to plug-in or sends and jump right back. It's really great. Lots and lots of stuff there. So these 3 buttons allow you to jump through 3 different banks of controls that you can customize yourself in the IMAP software. Another video, we'll get into that. Now, in addition to those 3 layers, which are interactive, so these will actually light up. When I change to send, it'll highlight sends and stay that way until I select something else. Really neat. Now, there's 2 more layers, user 1 and user 2. The only limitation with these 2 user banks is they don't light up and stay lit for status. And that's fine because most of these, if not all of these, are for quick one-off functions like save as. If I hit save as, I get my save as menu there. I do it, hit enter or save, and I'm done. So pretty slick. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 16. That's a whole lot of buttons for things that we like to use on our DAW. Love this a lot. Okay, so the next thing that we have is read and write. Now some DAWs are going to give you even more than that. There's touch, latch, trim, and off as far as additional functions you can have for your automation. Here we have read and write, which is great for Cubase. Turn those on and off very, very quickly. And then we have our transport. Transport does all the things you would expect it to do. We have the play, we have the stop, we have loop on and off, we have fast forward and rewind, and we can record. We hold play and then record, and then we just hit record to turn it off, just like a tape machine, which I love because I'm old. And then stop. So it's great. Then of course we have our jog wheel. The jog wheel by default is going to allow us to jog around, to move around within our project, but I usually have it on zoom. I love this. It allows you to zoom in and out on your project quickly and easily. No diving for the G and H keys on the keyboard and missing them, which I tend to do a lot. So I love, love, love that I can just have this locked to that. You can also zoom your tracks in and out. So you can, on Cubase and most other DAWs, you can make these tracks narrow or wide in your edit window. And I love that as well. Another great mode of the jog wheel is the focus mode. So the focus mode allows you to hover over any parameter and then turn the jog wheel and it will change that parameter. So for instance, on this compressor here, when I hover over the input and turn the wheel, changes. Same with attack, I can just jump from parameter to parameter, even the ratio here. And you can even go down and grab a fader or a pan. There's just a whole slew of parameters that you can control with the jog wheel simply by highlighting it. It's pretty darn slick if you ask me. One of the things I like that these options over here allow you to do is it'll allow you to jump through the tracks. So you can just hit that and scroll through and find the track you want real quick and then go back to your zoom the way you like it. Allows you to really get around in the project quickly once you get the hang of it. So those are the basics. We'll get into more of the details in another video, but this should get you going and give you a whole lot of fun things to play around with your new P1 Nano. All right, guys, talk to you soon. Bye.